Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lillian, and today I am showing you guys my holy grail lasagna recipe. It is so good, so juicy, and everyone loves it. It is actually my mom's recipe, so shout out to her. Anyways, we're going straight in. I'm starting off with some olive oil in a pan on medium heat. I am being quite generous with the olive oil because it's just going to make it a little bit easier to saute the onions, as I really like to cook them down a lot. So I've chopped up 2 medium-sized white onions for this, and we're just going to cook them down really well. You want them to be super soft and like almost translucent in color. Also, if I sound a bit tired, it is 1 a.m. right now when I'm making this voiceover, so yeah, I am actually tired, but I really wanted to get this video uploaded because I know it's been a while. Anyways, once your onions are starting to soften a little bit, you're going to add your garlic. I'm using frozen minced garlic that I prepped myself, but you can also use fresh garlic. I would use about 3 cloves maybe, and you're just going to stir it in with the onions and make sure it's all cooked through really nicely. And once your onions and your garlic is cooked, you're going to add your minced meat. You can use any type of minced beef. I use minced beef, but you can use minced chicken as well, or even if you like it, pork, but I use minced beef. And I'm going to make sure that I stir it very well, mix it in with the onions and the garlic. And I like to just keep stirring until everything is brown and fully cooked. Once it's all cooked and the meat is separated, I'm adding my seasonings. So I've just added some black pepper, salt. I'm using garlic powder, paprika powder. I add a dash of turmeric, and then I also add some curry seasoning. Once the seasoning is all mixed in with the meat, you're going to add 3 cans of chopped tomatoes. Give it a good stir, and then you're going to add 1 chicken stock cube. I mix it with some hot water just to make it easier to blend with the rest of the sauce. I'm also adding some tomato puree. I'm not sure how good this video is because a lot of the measurements I kind of measure it by heart, so I don't know how much this is, but I hope that by showing you it in real life, it kind of shows you how much I use. I would say maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. You can't really go wrong with it because it's just more for the color to make it a bit more red. Anyways, this is the secret ingredient, is berbere. Berbere is a spice blend from Eritrea, and it just adds a little bit of spice and flavor to the sauce. As you can see, I am being a little bit generous with it because I like it quite spicy, but not too spicy. So I just add a little bit of that. If you don't have berbere, you can add a little bit of chili powder as well. Give it a good stir and then put the lid on it and let it simmer on low to medium heat. While that's simmering away, we are going to make our white sauce, or bechamel sauce I think it's called. We're making this from scratch as well. So I'm going to start off with 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm also adding some milk. As I said, I didn't really use measurements, but I can see that there are some measurements on the side of the pan. So this is about half a liter of whole milk that I'm adding now. And you're just gonna let that cook a little bit, heat up. Make sure to stir it though, because you don't want the milk to burn. And this sauce specifically, it requires a lot of stirring because it can burn very quickly. So I'm stirring the milk and the butter right now, putting the heat on low medium, and now I'm adding some flour. I am now adding about 1/3 of a cup of flour, but throughout this clip you'll see that I'm adding more milk, more butter, and more flour just to get the right consistency. And I was also afraid that it would not be enough white sauce, so that's why I tried to add a little bit more of the 3 ingredients to make sure I had enough sauce. And yeah, just keep on stirring. Make sure to keep on stirring so it doesn't burn, and the sauce will thicken naturally. As you can see, it's lots of stirring because we don't want to create any lumps in the sauce. Once it's kind of cooked enough, you add 1 egg, and this is just going to help the sauce with the texture and the creaminess and the consistency of the sauce as well. Again, make sure to stir properly because you don't want the egg to cook in one place. You want it to blend with the rest of the sauce, and you don't want to create any lumps, like I said before. Now that the sauces are ready, it's time for the fun part, which is assembling the lasagna. So I'm starting off with putting some of the red sauce on the bottom just to make sure that the lasagna sheets don't stick to the bottom of the pan. So I just use ready-made lasagna sheets, the dry ones, and this is gonna be a little bit of a puzzle. So for the first one, I break off the corner just so that it fits nicely into the corner of the pan. And I just lay them down nicely to make sure that every part is kind of covered in pasta, and I break them up in pieces because the lasagna sheets that I'm using, they're not the same length as the pan that I'm using. So I'm just breaking up pieces and adding them on the sides to make sure that there's pasta everywhere. Once you've got your pasta layered nicely, you're going to put some tomato sauce on top. You can be quite generous with this because we're using ready-made pasta, which is dry, and we've not pre-cooked the pasta sheets. So I like to be quite generous with the sauce in between the layers because as it cooks in the oven, the pasta kind of soaks up the sauce. So I like to be quite generous, and I like to make sure, maybe that's the perfectionist in me, but I like to make sure that every single inch is covered in sauce, as you can see. And next you're going to put some of the white sauce on top. Now I tried to use a spoon, but I didn't have a bigger one, so I just started pouring it straight from the pan. And you just pour a little bit on it and mix it, spread it out as well evenly over the pasta. Once you've spread the sauce evenly, you're going to add some cheese. I'm using 2 types of cheese, grated mozzarella and grated cheddar cheese. I'm not going overboard with the cheese, or at least in my opinion. I just add some cheese in between the layers to add a little bit of cheesiness to the lasagna, and also just some flavor. So I just make sure it's evenly spread, and then you're going back again with the pasta. You're going to repeat the steps. So pasta, tomato sauce, white sauce, cheese, and then go back again to pasta. So you're just going to repeat the steps until you fill your sheet pan or until you run out of your ingredients. So I think I did about 4 or 5 layers, and I will be fast forwarding the rest of these clips because otherwise you're gonna be sitting here all day watching me put this together. As this is the final layer, I am going a little bit overboard with the sauce as well as with the cheese because I like the top layer to have like a crunchy cheese layer on top. So that's why I'm adding extra cheese on the final layer. As you can see, the layers are looking juicy. It might look like a lot of sauce right now, but like I said, once it's in the oven, the lasagna sheets are going to soak up all that sauce. I am going to cover it with some aluminum foil first when I put it into the oven for like the first 20 minutes, just so it allows the lasagna to cook properly without burning the cheese on top. And then for like the last 10 to 15 minutes, I will be taking off the aluminum foil so that the cheese on the top layer can become nice and crunchy. And this is the final result. We've got a crispy cheese layer on top, and the layers inside are so soft and juicy. I love it. This extra seasoning definitely adds some nice flavor to this lasagna as well. So it is not your typical traditional Italian lasagna recipe. I would say a lot of Eritreans and Ethiopians cook it this way, but my friends loved it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Please let me know if you try out this recipe, and also let me know what else you guys want to see on my channel. If you want to see more cooking videos, let me know what you want me to cook. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!